The permission slip life. I won't sugarcoat it. I'm not here to be the villain or the victim. I'm just Abby, 32, and for the first time in years, I want to tell my story without filters. Everyone thinks they know what happened, but they don't. They didn't live in my house, in my shoes, trapped in a life where every single thing I needed required permission. Travis, my husband, made good money as a tradesman. I'll give him that. But what people didn't see was the leash that came with every dollar. You ever try to explain why a $5 coffee matters when you're out running errands just to feel human again? I couldn't even buy our son, Colton, new school supplies without asking Travis first. I stayed home since the day Colton was born. That's what we agreed to. I thought it was going to be this beautiful, fulfilling thing. But no one talks about how lonely it gets. How small you start to feel. I wasn't Abby anymore, I was just Mom, or Travis's wife. When he got home from work, I tried to talk about my day and he'd nod, eyes already on his phone or the TV. What was I even going to say? That Colton put his shoes on the wrong feet again, or that I spent 20 minutes trying to scrape grape jelly out of the carpet, for the third time that week? The breaking point came over something stupid. Colton needed new pants. He was growing fast and they looked like capris on him. I brought it up casually and Travis just sighed and said, "We'll have to wait until next paycheck." Like my kid showing up to school looking decent was some luxury. That's when it hit me. I had no power in my own home. No say. No money. Nothing that was mine. Then Raven, my old friend from high school, posted on Facebook about making her own money. She was vague, just saying she finally had independence. When I messaged her, she told me the truth. She was making content online. Pictures, videos. Not anything wild, she said. Just valuable enough for people to pay. At first, I thought she was insane. But then she showed me how much she made last month. I nearly dropped my phone. It was more than Travis brought home in 2 months. She had control. She had her own bank account. She didn't need to ask anyone for anything. I couldn't stop thinking about it. One day, while Colton was at school and Travis was at work, I locked the bedroom door, put on an outfit I hadn't worn in years and took a photo. Just one. Just to see. The reaction I got? That's when everything started to change. Chapter 2, Mine at Last. That first photo felt like nothing at the time, just a whisper of rebellion. But when it started earning attention, and money, it became something else entirely. Within a week, I had subscribers. Within 2, I was staring at a bank balance that felt like it belonged to someone else. And for the first time in years, that account had my name on it. Mine. Not ours. Not Travis's to oversee or limit. Just mine. I told myself it wasn't anything shameful. I wasn't doing anything wrong. These were tasteful photos. Flattering. Fun. I told myself it was like modeling, plenty of respectable women do that, right? What mattered more was how I felt again. I wasn't just the woman who wiped sticky countertops and remembered dentist appointments. I was Abby again. Someone who mattered. Someone people paid attention to. The compliments hit me harder than I expected. These men didn't see me as a chore or a piece of furniture. They noticed when I changed my hairstyle. They appreciated when I wore something different. They saw me. And Travis? He hadn't complimented me in months. Years maybe, outside of thanks for dinner. I opened a second bank account. Travis always claimed it was easier to manage money together. But really it meant he managed it. This time I wasn't asking. I was doing. Every notification that buzzed on my phone? Another deposit. Another brick in the foundation of the life I was finally building for myself. I told him I was getting into photography. That I was selling some old clothes online. It wasn't even a lie. Just not the whole story. Raven was right. This was real business. I started planning better. Buying nicer outfits. Investing in lighting. Subscribers began requesting specific themes and the prices they offered? Ridiculous not to take. I was finally contributing to our household but on my terms. I was building something that mattered, and I was good at it. But the more I grew, the more questions Travis started asking. Where's that outfit from? Did we buy new lights? Why are you always on your phone at night? I deflected with casual answers, knowing deep down, he wouldn't understand. Or maybe he would, and that scared me more. Then one night I caught him staring at me. Not with affection or curiosity. With suspicion. And that was the moment I realized. He was starting to put the pieces together, screenshots and shouting. By month 3 I was earning more than Travis in some weeks. It felt surreal, almost dangerous. I upgraded my phone. Bought better lighting. Even started planning a rebrand. I was no longer just trying something. I was running a business. A successful, scalable, profitable business. But with every new subscriber and every cent earned, I felt Travis pulling away. He started getting short with me, asking sharper questions. Where's all this extra money coming from? Why the hell are we getting so many packages? He'd never cared about household deliveries before. Now, every knock on the door came with an interrogation. And still, I didn't back down. I told myself I was allowed to have something of my own. He never asked permission to buy new tools or grab beers with coworkers. Why should I justify my hustle? Then it happened. One Tuesday afternoon, Travis came home early. I knew something was off the second he walked through the door. His face was pale. His jaw clenched. He wasn't just tired. He was furious. He didn't say a word at first, just held out his phone. On the screen were screenshots. My screenshots. A subscriber page. My content. Circulating in a group chat at his job. I couldn't breathe. You lied to me, he snapped. You made a fool out of me. At work. In front of my crew. He paced the room like a caged animal, voice rising with every step. What about Colton, huh? You ever think about him? What happens when his classmates find us? What about our family? I tried to stay calm. I told him this was a business. A legitimate, independent business. That I was contributing financially. That this wasn't about shame, it was about taking control of my life again. But he wasn't listening. All he could see was humiliation. And all I could see was a man who cared more about his pride than my progress. Then he asked the question I knew was coming. Do you even care what this is doing to our son? That was the moment I realized. This wasn't just about my content anymore. He was going to use Colton against me. Chapter 4. My son, my brand, my battle. After that blow-up, nothing was the same. Travis wanted counseling. He said we needed to work through this as a team. But I saw right through it, he didn't want help. He wanted someone with a clipboard to tell me I was wrong, to shame me back into the role he was comfortable with. Silent, small, dependent. I refused. I wasn't going to pay someone to justify his insecurities. That's when he got nasty. He started making comments in front of Colton. Mommy's too busy taking pictures to help with homework. Don't bother her, she's glued to her phone again. It was subtle at first, but deliberate. Strategic. Trying to turn my own child into a mirror of his judgment. And then came the phone call from school. Colton had gotten into a fight. The counselor said kids were teasing him. That some had seen something online. My stomach twisted into knots. I knew what that meant. Some parent, probably bored and bitter, had found my content and passed it around like playground gossip. And now my son was being punished for it. We were called in for a meeting with the principal and a school counselor. I showed up ready to defend my family. But Travis? He sat there, arms folded, saying nothing. Letting them drag me. They suggested I reconsider my business. That my online presence was creating a challenging environment for Colton. I told them exactly what I thought, that if children were bullying my son over my business, the problem wasn't me. It was them. The parents raising those kids. The judgment passed from dinner tables to recess. But when we got home, Travis exploded. You're ruining his life, he screamed. You're choosing your selfish business over your son. And for the first time, he said the words I never imagined I'd hear. If you don't stop this, I'll file for full custody. That sentence didn't just hang in the air. It hit like a gavel. He took everything. Travis didn't bluff. He filed for divorce and custody. Full custody. Suddenly, I was no longer a wife navigating a rocky marriage. I was a defendant fighting to keep my son. The paperwork came fast. The court dates followed. And the accusations? Cruel. His lawyer framed me as irresponsible, immoral. Like I was some walking scandal. They didn't talk about the meals I made, the homework I helped with, or the nights I stayed up rocking Colton through fevers. They only talked about content, exposure, reputation. I fought back. I hired my own attorney, gathered records, showed proof that I was financially stable, present, and nurturing. But every hearing felt like standing on trial for daring to want both success and motherhood. The custody evaluator came next. A stranger with a clipboard, asking invasive questions while judging every inch of my home and my life. She asked if I had boundaries between work and parenting. If Colton knew what I did. If I thought my choices were in his best interest. I wanted to scream. Why was I the one on trial for making money, when Travis never had to justify anything? He'd already moved on. Serena. That was her name. A teacher from Colton's school, of course. Perfectly polished. Soft-spoken. Traditional. Someone who'd never challenge him. Never shine too bright. And worst of all, Colton liked her. He didn't understand what was happening, not really. But every photo of them together, Every drawing he brought home with her in it felt like a dagger. The day the custody decision came down, I sat in that courtroom, heart racing, palms sweaty. The judge called it primary custody to Travis. They called it stability, structure. What they meant was safe, familiar, easier to explain to the neighbors. I was ordered to pay child support. Support. For a child I gave everything for. A child I was now allowed to see part-time. My business? It collapsed overnight. The rumors, the gossip, the weaponized screenshots. Platforms took down my content. Community guidelines flagged me. Subscribers vanished. So did the income, the freedom, the version of me I'd worked so hard to rebuild. I had to take a regular job again. Punch a clock. Ask for days off. Smile through gritted teeth while someone else made the rules. Every night, I go to bed in a small rented apartment. No Colton down the hall. No camera lights. No buzzing notifications. Just silence. 6 months ago, I had a business, a voice, a future. Now, I have visitation rights and a court-mandated payment schedule. But I'm not done. He may have won the battle, but he never broke me.